So let's talk about the Cultists.
Okay.
So I'm Heath. I'm the creator and the writer, one of the writers. Let me start that over.
The writer, wow.
I'm Heath. I'm the creator of the Cultists. I'm one of the writers. We wrote it together. And then I'm also producing it. And this is Brianna.
I'm Brianna da Silva, and I'm the co-writer and the director.
So, all right. So how do we get started with this project?
So originally, Heath, he reached out to me, and he had several projects that he wanted to work on. And this one in particular, he kind of had the general concept down. He had a lot of jokes, a lot of really great ideas. And he threw it over to me, and then I wrote a first draft of the scripts. And then I came to him in person, and then we rewrote them, did another draft together, and continued to tweak it until we had what we both really liked.
Yeah, the Cultists basically emerged as self-parody because as I've been working on the Elder Dice projects, and particularly Journey to the Tree of Sorrows, and then getting really involved in the Lovecraft's writings and that kind of thing, and creating what we were creating, naturally a whole bunch of different jokes emerged. Different people would say things as we were working on something for Journey. And so I just basically kept a giant list of all that kind of thing. Had a notes folder on my computer where anytime somebody said something, I just wrote it down. So I had this whole list of jokes that I think could form the basis of the Cultists. And they all kind of ran together to form this idea. But I had never written comedy before. So I went through, I had all this list, and I started putting it together into the episode kind of format. And all right, this should go here, this kind of should go here and here. And then I basically ran out of creative or comedic energy anyway. And that's when I sent it over to Brianna and brought her on and said, see what you can do with this. And she ran with it.
Yeah, and so then it went from kind of a lot of disconnected ideas and jokes to being a more cohesive story and having an arc to it, of course. And then when we came together, one of the things that we did was basically we made it a lot simpler. So we started off with a pretty big cast. There was a lot more characters than we needed, and we ended up combining a lot of those characters. That was a really important step to make each of those characters a lot stronger. So that was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we went through your draft basically online together, right? And then we worked on it a little bit, but then when you came here to work in person, we had a lot of energy. We were writing together. We sat down, we wrote together and went through it. I don't know, 2 or 3 passes all the way, kind of combing through it, and then combing through it, and then combing through it until the final drafts emerged. One thing that I thought was interesting was how, you talk about having the script first, but then we went and we did location scouting and things like that, kind of in the middle. So we had the idea of maybe about 3/4 of the way through. So we had the idea of what we wanted, but then as we found, okay, in this particular location, this is what we've got, this is what we can work with. We made that come together.
Yeah, we got some more ideas. For example, when we were at the park, we found that there was a yellow bench there, and so then when we were writing the part with the yellow paranoia, we had an actual physical location to refer to. We were like, oh, we can definitely make a joke out of this. And then also the bird bath.
The bird bath, right? It was sitting there.
that was just something we saw, and we were like, oh, we have to write something here, which of course we did.
Mm-hmm. But the project has both grown in scope. When I brought Brianna down to work on the project, I envisioned it being a much smaller kind of thing. But you don't really know how large something is until you've been all the way through a project like this once. I have a much better understanding now.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we expanded it because I mean the original vision for it was pretty simple, but I'm really proud of what it's become. I think it's really cool, and I really like the changes that we made to it.
I'm a proponent of better being better. That if we can make something better, then it should be better. Now, of course, you can't go like that forever because there are certain constraints.
Right. Eventually, you get to something you can't even practically do at the moment. But
I didn't really fully even understand our capabilities, or I know I didn't when we first started talking. Like, it was what was going to be technically capable, and that's something else that I've learned through this project and Dinner and a Board Game and all of this is what can we produce here at what type of quality. And as I found out, we can do a lot more than I thought, and a lot better than I thought. So if we can do that, then we should take advantage of it. Who's your favorite character?
My favorite character. Dang it. Actually, it might be Ben. If I have to choose a favorite character, Ben makes me laugh. He's that kind of a character that you want to feel bad for him, but you also want to laugh at him. So I don't know if that's nice or not, but
Well, it's just for the comedy, I suppose.
of course,
it works.
I mean that's the point. Yeah, but I also really enjoy the arc that he goes through, which I won't say much about because that's a spoiler, of course. But he goes through a pretty fun arc, I think, and it was enjoyable to write that.
Yeah, and his ending that I wrote originally stayed basically the same. It was the same basic idea, but it was for a different character. And we realized that, that arc ends with Ben with that character so much better. So it really flowed very well. She created Shay and Acantha.
Yeah, those two characters were not formed initially.
Right. Yeah. I knew I wanted to have the witch cult of Azathoth in there, and gave Brianna some ideas on what they were going to be like, and then that was part of her development over there.
Also, Carrie and Sherry were those were also, I guess, basically a lot of the female characters were ones that I created, and then the guy characters were kind of a lot that we together, focused in. I think Mike was pretty well formed to start with, though.
Mike was
pretty well formed, yeah. Rob was probably the next one that formed pretty naturally.
Right, and he became harder core as we went.
Yeah, we just kept upping it. Yeah.
What about the casting process?
Casting process was a lot of fun, but it was also, I guess, a little bit more stressful than I thought it would be. That was one thing that I've always really looked forward to, is being able to be in the director's chair and being able to make those important casting decisions. It's pretty thrilling, but there's also, there's a lot of people that we're really interested in, and that was really cool. That also means a lot of people that we have to say no to, and well, that's that. That's how it goes.
It is, but I was surprised the number of people that we got to audition and things like that in relatively short order.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people are interested in this project, and then I hope a lot of other projects that we're going to be doing, because we're getting this going, but we got other ideas too. And knowing that there's this pool of people out there who are really talented, and really it's another situation where better is better. We ended up with the people who came. Well, a lot of them were so good. We're like, well, this is going to get even better when they're involved, and we have better actors and actresses and all that. And so that was another escalation of how good we think it's going to be.
we originally, an example of that was we had the dad character, Mike's dad, and then when we were first conceptualizing this, we thought that we were going to basically fill the cast with people that we knew, with different actors we were connected with, and we quickly realized that we couldn't fill all those roles. Not everyone that we knew was available for the times that we wanted to film, and so we had to do a casting call. But before that, we had actually removed the character of Dad because we didn't have anyone that could play him. But then someone ended up auditioning that we realized would make a great dad, and so we added the character back into the scripts. And so things like that happened where we were like, well, actually, if we have this amazing person, then we want to be able to, show them off, basically.
To be able to use them.
Yeah.
And the same way with Bella.
Same with Bella, yeah.
We realized that we had to have a Bella because of the closing arc of the story.
Yeah.
So we kind of went out searching for one, but when we found a great Bella, then the scenes that we had removed earlier
we
go
added
back
in. Yeah. we wrote another one or two, I think we added after we cast her, yeah.
Right. Some that might not have even really gotten, weren't even formulated at all in the initial draft, because it's like, well, finding a Bella is going to be hard, but it worked.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. Just seeing how many people you can connect with, in the Birmingham area. That's pretty cool.
Thank you very much for coming and being a part of it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast.
I'm looking forward to going into production. We'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, me too.